Yeah.
Joe.
Billy,
Again.
we're back.
Again. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for dressing up. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We're talking Pittsburgh Pirates. If anything, Pittsburgh is known for its tie-dye. Very vibrant tie-dye community, and I thought I'd honor that today.
Is that a tie-dye hypercolor shirt?
No, just
Did they make those?
Just regular color.
Yeah, I'm much older than you. When I was
That's
of middle school age, hypercolor was all the rage.
Did it just like accentuate the pits and like the Mickey sweat?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Sport.
You know what, Joe? We don't have a sponsor this week.
What?
I know, but I thought we could take this opportunity to see if Joe Moore wants to hawk any of his wares on today's episode. What about your vaccination bumper stickers?
I do have vaccination bumper stickers, so I got vaccinated, and while I was in the shower, I came up with this idea for.
You got vaccinated in the shower?
No, I got vaccinated.
Your doctor is pulling something on you.
I woke up and I had these stitches on my side, and I was in a tub full of ice. And yes, I have some bumper stickers for sale on my site. If you've been vaccinated, and then
link down below.
There you go. If you've been vaccinated and then you feel like throwing hands, I got you. So buy a bunch of them. I ordered way too many, and that's my sales pitch.
What does the bumper sticker say?
Oh, it says vaxxed up and ready to fight my dad.
Yeah, I think that's a great slogan.
Yes.
Speaking of bringing dad energy, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates with our two guests, Scott Fuller and Scott Biersack. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. Sorry if I didn't. Hello, Scott. Scott.
Wait, were you worried about pronouncing Scott correctly?
No.
What? What did I do?
No, you're good. I'm just still cracking up over that intro. It was so fucking over the top. I love it.
I'm just cracking up about the bumper sticker.
I'll send you one, Scott. They're lovely.
Oh, you know what? I'm such a moron, Joe.
You have one?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot to thank you for sending me them.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Vaxxed up and ready to fight my dad.
There you go.
Such a moron.
There you go.
Yes.
And thank you, Joe, for sending these. I've had it for like 2 weeks, and I forgot to say thank you, Joe, for sending me these bumper stickers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's the sponsor of today's show.
Shit, I think of. I'm not doing this.
Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you for having us.
How you doing?
Sleepy today, all things considered, just overworked, overbooked, which is a wonderful thing to have, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Being a freelancer, can't complain, but I'm pretty tired today, honestly.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll
Same here.
Dead weight.
Same here. Three presentations and 2 meetings, so all fun. So this is my 6th meeting of the day.
Yay!
I see you working that coffee. That's the move right now.
It's decaf.
Oh, okay.
It's decaf. I don't. I drink coffee like once every couple months.
Oh wow! So Scott Biersack, am I pronouncing your last name right?
You are. Good job. Nice one.
Yay! Tell us a little bit. Tell the fans at home, the listeners, the watchers, the whatevers. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. I'm an illustrator, freelance lettering artist, designer, type designer. I try to do a little bit of everything. I try not to get too stuck into one specific style. I try to do a little bit of everything that the client may need. Actually, more recently, I've been doing a lot more stuff in the animation realm. So I've been doing like storyboards and
really?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't mind it. I'm actually very into it. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Dash Studios and I just did some stuff with a buddy that I can't say because of NDA stuff. I'm super stoked to share it, but I can't share any of it. But anyway, that's
but you forgot that you're also a TikTok star.
Yes, yeah, I'm a TikTok star, I guess.
Oh, we lost Billy.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, he's here.
Sorry.
Not really. It's just it's one of those things. At the start of the year, I was like super, just kind of like in a rut is what I would call it, and I needed some way to sort of like bring some life into my life.
Yeah.
And TikTok was my key. And so I told myself I'd post every day on the app for this entire year, and of course here we are. And I'm like, fuck no, I can't. I reached 2 months, and I was like, okay, that's good enough. I'll call it quits there.
Did you
had some good content though. It was good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It kind of pissed me off. I'll be honest, a little bit.
Did you notice like any sort of bump as far as your like viewership or even like people reaching out via TikTok for design services or anything?
Yeah, oddly enough, that was part of the reason I think, knowing COVID and how it affected us all. Another part of the reason why I got onto TikTok was because I thought, well, I need to start a new audience because Instagram's just fucking me up. And the algorithm's just utter trash. Everything about it sucks.
You can't grow an audience on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just straight up impossible. So people aren't seeing my work on Instagram. So I thought, okay, let's start fresh on TikTok. And oddly enough, yeah, I had a number of people reach out, especially after I had a couple videos blow up. And they weren't, some of them were somewhat legit. I had 2 or 3 that actually, we saw to the end. But then I had a number of inquiries where people were like, how much for a T-shirt or how much for a poster? And, they don't quite understand the cost of design is what it seemed like. Because it's just your average everyday, like a lot of it's kids, kids are emailing me is what it seems like. So
I got an email. I got a work opportunity from Super Design Bowl. Somebody asked me to design their fantasy football team logo.
Really?
Yeah, it's really rolling in over here. It's really,
I had one of those a couple of years ago where they wanted me to do like their entire league.
Oh,
and I was like, he asked for a quote and I sent it to him and he was like, are you crazy? And I was like, are you? You want me to have 12 logos? Like, come on, man.
Right.
That didn't go very far.
And you're out of Arizona, right?
I am, yes.
Is that where you grew up or are you?
No, I'm actually originally from Columbus, Ohio. My family and I moved here when I was about 10. So I've pretty much been here, my entire early adult life. I moved to New York for a short time, then came back. So I've been back, ever since I finished.
Did you feel like program. What was New York not your cup of tea?
There were a lot of things that pushed me away. That's for sure.
Okay.
I think the first and foremost, of course, is like the cost of everything. It's rather insane. And then at the time, I was also fresh out of college, so I was paying my student loans and everything else. So it was just like it was kind of difficult. And I think after finishing a year of school, on top of doing freelance, like I was just burnt out, and I just needed a break from the city. Yeah. So, but now I'm like contemplating. I'm like, I can move back. I can handle it, but we'll see what happens. I don't know.
You could be bi-coastal, right?
Yeah.
Scott Fuller, where are you fighting out of these days?
I am just north of Atlanta in Woodstock.
Yeah, we've had Woodstock, a lot of Georgia people on the show. A lot of
you had Jason. You had Jason on here. You had Britt on here.
Yeah.
Oh, the Britt one. Yeah.
A lot of South Carolina people. Yeah, it's weird. What's going on over there?
What's in the water?
So Scott, Fuller.
I don't know. Tastes good though.
So how the peaches this time of year?
Hold on. No. Oh, they're good, man. They're good. They're ripe. They're good. They're tasty. They're good.
So tell me about your life and livelihood. That's a good way to put it.
Oh boy. I'm born and raised in Georgia, but I've been running the studio temporary for just last month. Just celebrated 6 years full time. I've been designing for at least twice that long.
I guess you should call it permanent.
I've heard that so many times. I've heard that so many times. It was so bad. The worst ever came. I had been in my studio. Had a studio in downtown Atlanta for about 3.5 years, and somebody texted me. It was like, "Man, it's that same thing." And then like the next day, something happened there, and I ended up having to like find a new studio. So I like called the guy up. I'm like, "I'm gonna kill you." It's like, do you realize what you just started? So, but no, it's been good. I mean, I do everything from identity design, illustration, type design as well. Not on the level of Scott, but I do the best I can, packaging, and all kind of fun stuff like that.
Are you one man wrecking crew?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you prefer things, or like? I mean, that's a weird question, but like.
I don't like anybody else. Keep your hands off my stuff.
Listen, some people do not work well with others. I know a few that don't work well with others, and
I
that's
do work
fine.
well with others. I do work well with others. I mean, even what is it? Scott and I was out in Phoenix right before all this stuff started for a couple of days doing a workshop.
Yeah.
And I was working with Scott. Like he was showing me a bunch of stuff and glyphs and type and stuff like that. I mean, I've learned I can't remember. I don't think there's anybody else I've learned more about type design from than the guy sitting right across from me right now. But, Biersack, Scotty, you can give me the $20 after the show. Okay.
Oh, that was so nice.
This is like
it's true. It's true. I mean, you taught me how to use glyphs and stuff like that, and
Thanks, man.
I felt like we worked together for, pretty well. I have an open mind, learn, and everything like that. I don't have any issues working with people. Just, I do my thing, and I set the schedule and take on as much as I possibly can, which to my detriment at times. But when the phone's ringing, I'm not going to turn anything away.
Yeah. When I started Delicious, I didn't want to do like invoicing and scheduling and all the crap that you have to do when you're a freelancer or you're a one person shop. And so I had partnered with a friend of mine who was like going to be the business guy, and I could just do the art side of things.
That's about to change on this end too. Like not so much for the business stuff, because I'll always be the one to meet with people and everything like that, but just helping set my schedule and just kind of keeping things straight and everything like that. I mean, I've got my notebook. I keep everything pretty much scheduled in that, but it's getting to the point now where I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah. It would drive me nuts. But I think sometimes though it would be nice because I get burned out from just doing the design stuff all day.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough. I mean, we design everything. We design our own invoices. We design our own, this type of stuff. You send off a little PDF, the contract, everything like that. Typeset it out, do whatever. I mean, it just takes a couple of seconds to change out a few names and then just hit send.
But how do you if you have like a really busy week like you guys are having this week, when you've got all these deadlines and all these projects, and then you still have emails coming in, like people asking you for changes or new clients, or I mean, how do you even stay on top of it all? Does it ever get overwhelming for you guys?
For me personally, not really. I'm pretty good at multitasking, so I bounce around all the time. You're checking the Slack channel, you're checking your emails while simultaneously designing. Thankfully it's not too much of an issue for me, but I'm at the point, like what Scott was saying too, where I like floated the idea out to some of my friends if they'd be willing to like come on part-time, because I just need help like doing client outreach and the invoice, all the stuff we were just talking about. So that I can focus more on the actual creativity and the creation. But yeah, like Billy, what you're saying too, like I kind of enjoy doing that stuff sometimes, because it's nice to just take a break and just turn your brain off and just like, I'm just typing up some bullshit, and it's just so easy.
Yeah. This is true. I mean, for me, the way I try to, keep all that going is I stay, it sounds so funny, as active as I am on Instagram, but I stay off social media as much as humanly possible. Slack, I haven't opened Slack, I think, but maybe twice this year. I don't have any. I don't do Slack. I don't do Slack, man.
That's
I
impressive.
just don't. it's too much. It's just too much. The little ding, 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 ding going on. It's just too much. And half the time it's just folks wanting to talk and BS and stuff like that. And it's like, look, I can send a text message or I can, call somebody or something like that. But I try to keep that to an absolute minimum. I mean, I've got a son, he's 9 years old, my wife and everything usually work out of the house and everything like that. So, time for them and everything, but I just try to keep my as you see all this craziness behind me, I keep all my distractions to a minimum, you see.
Yeah.
So, I try to anyway.
Yeah, well, Biersack, if you're looking to partner with a friend, just if I can recommend any advice I could give you working with my best friend for since 2006, just partner with someone you can trust. The learning of the business side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's easy, right? That comes right. You can teach your friend like all of the design side of crap, and all that sort of language. Just as long as you trust is the number one thing.
Oh,
which I guess is obvious.
For sure.
So let's talk about some Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
First, what we like to do is we like to kind of talk about the history of the logo. Now, I don't know how much prep work you guys did into before you guys designed your logos, but this is sort of the first thing that I would always do, right? Just let's see where they were. And it's a pretty interesting history. The team's been around for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
And even in the late 1800s, they were like called the Pittsburgh. Had a really weird name it's not coming to me.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either, but I did the same research and I found that out too.
Yeah.
Swashbucklers?
No, it wasn't even a pirate name. It was like a onlets or something. Listen, I apologize. I'll put the wiki link in the post.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to think, because when you think of the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's yellow, it's gold and black, right? Gold and black. And that didn't happen until 48. Did they adopt the gold and black, I believe. But they always had this strong P.
Yeah.
And some really crappy pirates over the years.
No.
Are any of these guys popping out at you?
I love the 1934. It's getting quotations like "We are the Pirates."
Yeah.
It's like on the weekend we are known as the Pirates.
Yeah. This illustration's not horrible.
Yeah,
I love the cross bats. I love the cross bats.
Yeah, the cross bats. He's pretty darn tough looking.
That looks like a pirate. Got some scars or whatever's around his neck.
If I had a nose like that, I'd dress him.
What's going on in 1960? How we get like super like cartoony all of a sudden?
It's Smee.
Oof.
Yeah,
it's Mr. Smee.
It looks like something on a cereal box. Honestly,
the big dangly hoops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And that S.
But look at that.
And then in
Yeah.
And then in 1968 it became Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
But the introduction of the typeface. Scott, what do you call it? I know this is really small and hard for you to see.
You're gonna have to say Biersack, or you're gonna have to say Scotty or something like that.
Type expert Biersack. What do you call a typeface that has serifs that are like cut like that? Does it have a name?
Beveled. I don't know. I don't know if there is a name for something like at that sort of angle that it's got. I thought that was really interesting, which is why I sort of tried to explore it in my version as well. Because it's like, like where you're hovering right now, where like the P's got some weird spurs on the far right, but then it's got a slab serif situation going on the bottom and the top left. So it's like the DNA is like two different things in that P, and that's what I was trying, at least in my version, I was trying to unify everything and like have it feel, a bit more harmonious rather than this like the P is just so fucking strange to me. But anyway,
should we even mention this guy? He's pretty sad.
Yeah, he is pretty sad. It's so dull.
How did that last till 1996?
I don't know. 9
It's
years really doesn't seem that much when some of these
in
other
baseball though. I mean, if you figure that most even like NBA teams and stuff like that change their uniforms at least every like 3 to 4 years at least, and this guy
soccer teams in Europe do it every year.
Yeah, and same thing with like MLS and stuff like that. And then now you got this guy with like he said, with that super dull, like stuff around there. By the way, I found the name, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It was like Alany. I think it was Alany or something. It's like Allegheny. I think it's Alany. It was
all right.
Alany.
So you can see in 48 they changed their colors. They changed their colors to match the Steelers, basically.
Well, so I was thinking about this. Is Pittsburgh, and I'm sure someone watching this is going to be yelling at their phone or whatever. Is Pittsburgh the only city that so the three major franchises, the NHL, the NBA, or excuse me, not NBA, MLB, and NFL, all three of them share the same color palette.
I think that's smart. I think that's really smart.
I thought the same thing. I was like, that is brilliant for just kind of making it cohesive. But are there any other cities like that?
I'm racking my brain right now. Like for a minute, you got but you got like Sacramento and like Los Angeles and stuff like that kind of share that. But then their baseball teams don't. You got the Dodgers and the stuff like that.
When the Hornets went to
New Orleans,
I was like, they need to go black and gold, right? So they could match.
Did they become the Bobcats then?
No, the old Hornets became the Bobcats. Whatever, but so before they changed into the Pelicans, which is what they are now, they were the Hornets, right? And I was like, why don't they make it gold and black, just like the Saints?
Mm-hmm.
And they never did, but that's a different story. So
that is weird, though. I never thought about that.
Yeah, in '76, the famous pillbox hat was introduced. Right? Are you guys familiar with the pillbox hat?
Oh yeah.
It's this.
Right,
which I think is dope. Right? A lot of people hate it, but a lot of people don't know this. In '76, it was like 100-year anniversary of the National League or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cardinals, the Mets, the Phillies, the Pirates, and maybe the Expos, they all did the pillbox hat.
Yeah.
Right? So they all did the pillbox hat. But the Pirates are the only team that used it after '76. And so everyone associates the pillbox hat with the Pirates. Yeah. And for the All-Star game that year, every team had a pillbox hat for the All-Star.
They even had the pillbox hat on the logo.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's sick.
That's dope. And the mustache. This is
we admire this is an elite uniform. Just the all yellow with the black hat. That's killer.
When they came out and did their stuff even when they were the Pirates did like the yellow like the yellow tops and the black pants and everything like that. I mean, you cannot go wrong with these colors in any form.
When's the last time any of you have ever played a organized sport? If ever.
Last week.
Last week. I used to play a lot of soccer until I had my kid.
My first baseball team was actually the Pirates.
Oh, nice.
When in T-ball.
I can't believe you remember that. But half of the fun of playing organized sports is being able to dress up like a superhero and go outside with a bunch of other people dressed up like superheroes.
Totally.
There's this graphic design nerdiness to me when I would get ready for my soccer games when I was like 37 years old. It's still like cosplay, right? I'm putting on a uniform. I got the fancy shoes. I'm pulling the socks up. I got the shin guards. Doing the whole thing. And to me, a lot of design and sport and fashion sort of meet in this weird spot. but maybe that's just my what do you call it? My weird quirk. Speaking of weird quirks, let's look at these logos, fellas. So unfortunately, Scott Biersack.
Demolished. Go.
Unfortunately, I gotta play this. I'm so sorry, Scott. I hated doing that.
God.
Oh my goodness.
No, I didn't listen.
Brutal.
I don't expect you guys to watch any other episodes, but that happens every episode. I didn't do that just for you.
That is so fucking funny.
I wasn't trying to just screw you over, but
I love the Price is Right, like little sad sound effect in there.
If I get the Wild and Out thing after mine, I'm gonna laugh my head off.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I like to ask the people that did not win. I don't like to call you losers because you're not losers. Everyone's a winner in my heart.
Hell yeah.
What the hell were you thinking, Scott?
This is my first attempt at a sports logo. So I wanted to go for something that's pretty, I don't know, a bit like a big composition, not so much like just a simple logo mark or a simple identity or whatever. I wanted to go for the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. And so that's what I did. I tried to fucking deliver that, and I just missed the mark. So
no, wait, I'm busting your balls. This is really well done. This is really well done.
I love it.
I've looked at this and stuff like that.
I don't need your sympathy.
It's not
This
sympathy.
is not sympathy.
Listen, I can look at this. I can look at this.
The bats and the scroll, like the scroll
The
and the
bats
bats,
and the
everything. Like, I
scrolls.
never would have thought of that.
The
That
bats
is
and
good
the
stuff.
scrolls.
That's good stuff.
Okay, okay, if you're not going to talk
Thank you.
highly of yourself, let me do it for you. I like the. There's a lot of Pirates logos out there. I don't think many of them are doing the map thing, which I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I love the addition of the sailor's knot.
Yeah, nice. I'm glad you caught on to that.
Yeah,
that's what I was going for too.
I dig
just tying it all together, literally.
I like the simplification of your baseball.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. And I love how this line flows right into this line.
Thank you.
And that's a great touch.
That's the little details.
And I would say that's probably my favorite detail.
And then how the rope flows straight into here, and then there's just a consistency. There's like, okay, this dude knows what the fuck he's doing, right? Like your line weight around Pirates is the same as your thickness around everything else, and you're like, well, duh, that's just design 101,
right?
But like. I teach graphic design, and
a lot of people don't catch that.
A lot of people can't even comprehend that. It doesn't hit. I love your S. S has got some really good swashbuckle to it. Let me ask you about
P?
Yeah, your P. Sorry. That's how good I am at this.
He's dyslexic.
I'm like, did I miss something on this logo?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
But this is what I want to know. The T.
Yeah.
Is one of the things that a T like this does is it fills that negative space.
Yeah.
Right. Because without it, you have black holes.
Exactly.
Here, right.
That's exactly it.
And
that's what we were going for there.
Yeah. So this was an incredibly clever something I just wouldn't have thought of. It works really well. Yeah,
it felt very piratey to me too. So I kind of ran with it. So it just it was a happy accident because I drew the crossbar of the E and it has a sort of tapering effect. And I thought, what if I took that and applied it, created essentially a bow tie for the T. That was the issue I ran into. I can't
recall seeing a T like that.
It's I can't remember what language it is, but there is a diacritic T where there's a mark where it crosses through the bottom of the T. So,
isn't that the same one where like the number 7 does that too?
7. I don't know if the 7.
The 7 has a cross through it.
That's how I draw mine. Yeah.
That's how
with
you
a
do
cross through it. That's more of a stylistic thing, I think. I could be wrong. But the T, I can't remember what language it is. But yeah, so this might actually read completely differently in another language. I don't know. I have no idea. But I thought it looked cool, so I was like, "Fuck it, let's do it."
It does look cool. It does look cool, and I think like your type is strong enough that it's obviously could live on its own, right?
Yeah,
like these
that was the
elements
goal,
could come off. You
Right.
could pull it apart, and I like the light source too. What are your guys' stances on light sources in logos? It's the great light source debate that I like to have, because my primate brain likes to just have everything flat for some reason. But obviously giving a light source gives it more dimension and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What you guys pro lights? Obviously, Scott Biersack, you're into it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
No, I can get into that as well. I think, obviously there's no one way to do anything, but I think that, in certain logos and certain spaces and everything like that, I think it works absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I like about, whether it's a light source or something like that, is you could even take this thing, throw it in black and white, take the offset pieces right there, like the darker, almost orange right there, put that in black, and it would still read as a shadow. Mm-hmm. So I have no problem with that at all. Used in the right way, which here it obviously is.
Right. Sometimes it can be overkill, I think, depending on the use case. But yeah.
Do you are you a sketch on paper kind of guy, Scott?
I am, yeah. So this actually started on paper, or then progressed slowly to the iPad. I had a number of other ideas, and I ended up obviously rolling with this sort of direction because it just felt, again, kind of like a cohesive piece rather than little bits and bobs. So I wanted to, tie all my ideas in one piece. So
when you say you go from sketch to iPad, do you like take a picture of your sketch and then take it to Procreate and sketch on top of a sketch?
Exactly.
And then you take your Procreate and bring it to Illustrator?
Yep. That was exactly my process.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some people can jump straight into Illustrator. I much rather fine tune and finesse and finalize all my details on paper.
Yeah.
Or at least even in Procreate, especially when I'm doing a piece of lettering like this, because it just makes your life so much easier when you get into vector world. Because then exactly where to place your points, and you're not kind of guessing and trying to figure out, well, why doesn't if we're talking about the S, why doesn't the spine of this S look exactly right? And how do I fix that in vector land? Because it's actually a lot more difficult to do that because you're having to sort of guess. And so that's why I try to finesse it as close as possible on paper before just then, once you bring it into Illustrator, all you got to do is plot your points, and it's just so simple.
So if I do arched or curved type, I do it straight and then curve it afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely did the same with this approach in some logo types. Just because I'm such a fucking type nerd about things, some optical things happen when you do use the arch and the warping and stuff in Illustrator. And so in that instance, if I need to get really precise, I'll create the arc myself with each individual letter as opposed to just arching the whole thing.
Cool. That's cool. What do you think about this, Joe Moore?
Obviously I love this one. He said all the little details, and then just kind of how it all works together. I'm glad you had said that more of a composition as opposed to just a mark, and it totally works like that. In that you can strip apart individual elements of that. I could see, just that ball with 1887 on a cap.
Mm-hmm.
That on a pillbox cap would be beautiful.
Oh, dude, rad.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. You said that you had a couple other ideas, and then this was kind of the one that really felt right. What were some of the other ones that didn't make it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd have to look through my iPad and like go through like the time lapse feature, because I just like the way I normally work is once I land on an idea, at least in this instance, I just start finalizing from there, and everything else just kind of gets erased sometimes. I think a lot of the initial sketches were a bit more pirate ship themed, and I drew a pirate ship for a recent logo, and there's a lot of already existing pirate ship sports logos out there. So I thought, okay, I want to branch free, or at least branch off of that, and try not to get into territory that isn't, already widely used or widely seen. So that's kind of how this idea sort of happened naturally. It just felt, I pushed into this like treasure map territory, and then like having the bats be like the scrolls was like just a happy accident. So it all just came together really nicely. So a lot of this is just a happy accident.
But isn't design a lot? I mean, a lot of design is decided in the process. You know what I mean? You can sketch and, when I talk to my students, and I hate to keep bringing them up, but like I say, okay, go into it having a plan, but also know that plan can and should and will change as you go.
Yeah.
Call it a happy accident, call it whatever.
Right. And then play it off like I totally meant to do that. Yeah. Everything you see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was planning that from the start.
Or like when your client sees things in your design that you never meant, and you're like, I totally meant that. Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to catch that. That's awesome.
That's it. Like, now I know that you are worthy of being my client.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Too good.
If I would be so embarrassed if people heard like my all-time greatest BS in a pitch meeting. Like there's so much crap you say.
Of course.
Let's go back. Interesting, you guys both led with the yellow, and then in the next, and then we had another Pirates after you guys, and they both went heavy black, which is an ironic coincidence.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm going to ask you all the same questions, so take it away. No, what the hell were you thinking, Scott Fuller?
Oh man, I looked through all the history and everything like that. I mean, I've always loved the Pirates branding. I mean, it was my first baseball team that I played on. I mean, I'm a lifetime Braves fan, so I'm just setting the record straight with this guy tonight. But I mean, yellow and black are my colors. I mean, I think it was Biersack actually who picked the team itself. So I got to give him props for that. I was looking back through the old logos and everything, and they didn't have an actual skull definitely they've never had a skull in their primary, but they didn't even have a skull in their secondary, like alternate logos, until 97. And that only lasted, and then they had it later on until like 2008, and then that was it. But it was like this kind of very happy grinning skull with a bandana, and I'm just like, I want a skull, a cracked skull. I want something that's looked like it's just been through a lot, because the Pirates has also kind of been through a lot. I wanted to do the eye patch and everything like that. Like, I love drawing skulls, but for me they're a real pain in the butt. But with this one, I wanted like the cracks in the skull to form the eye patch, and just little things like that. Like, I just wanted everything to just kind of line up right. Like, I don't know. I have kind of a math background. So for me, even if something has kind of a more organic, beat up type of a look, everything still aligns in some way, shape, or form. Like, I obsessed over the eye patch and everything like that. I probably redrew those eye sockets probably 20 or 30 times.
But you never worked so hard for no money before.
I know, right? I just really needed a break. I'm like, what? I just need some mundane, just whatever, just to kind of throw something. No, I know I love this type of stuff. I love doing sports logos. I'm a big sports fan and everything in general, but I just wanted to have fun with it. Started out a little bit more, perfectly done, I guess, and then I just basically just took a baseball bat to it, and this is what you see now.
I like it. I like it a lot. Let me ask you a couple questions, though.
Sure.
So So it looks like, are you rounding your edges off a little bit? Like
Just a little bit.
You're doing straight lines, but just a tab of rounding the edges, what I think is a really smart touch. That's really nice. I love the eye patch. I think that was a really clever idea, and that's really nice. I love how it's not actually symmetrical. It's symmetrical in parts, but like if you look at these teeth, they're not completely symmetrical, which I think is really important.
That was on purpose. That was very much on purpose.
I'm sure it was on purpose. But I'm just saying that's good. Like, my head goes straight to symmetrical because I got a pea brain. But this is the fact that it's symmetrical enough that it looks really good, but off enough that it looks organic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, this cut in the hat, which is a really important sort of piece to the design. Let me ask you what this part of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever look at making that whole, or is that like a part of a pirate's hat that goes?
It just kind of goes around. I tried it a couple of times, but what ended up happening is when you do any type of crossed bats or anything like that behind a head or a baseball or something like that, there's a certain amount of the bat you actually need to show. And while I think it probably could have left enough to the imagination or whatnot, it just, for me, it just wasn't enough.
So this I wanted to. Oh, it is a part of the bat. I thought it was part of the hat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of part of the hat and the bat.
Yeah, I always read it as both because I think
nice.
What are those like pointed hats that kind of meet in the back there? That's but then it does work with the bat. So I always read it as like, oh, that's super clever. He kind of like walked that line and incorporated both into it.
My initial version actually had the hat a little bit wider. But then like you said, some things can work for both. So I just kind of brought the hat back in, and that's where we are. That's where we ended up.
So let me ask you, did the P come in? Like, was that like from the beginning? Like, all right, I'm going to work that P in there, or was that like, you get the skull, you get the bats, and like a late addition. Okay, I think this is gonna sit really nice at the bottom. Like, was that planned from the beginning?
So initially, I thought about putting it on the hat initially, but
if it came to a point or something.
Yeah. But once again, it's we have all these plans and everything like that. It's like, this is going to work perfect. This is going to work perfect. And then we actually do it and you go, that's probably the stupidest thing I could have ever thought, but I wanted to kind of, I like things, we get back to, to symmetry and stuff like that. I like logos that can be nice and wide across hats, but I also, just in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how's this thing going to look in a square? How's it going to look in a certain way? And that P was it just kind of brought everything together. I wanted it to look like, hey, this is, it's like a legend on a map or something like that. Like underneath the skull, there's always something underneath the skull, like X marks the spot. It's under the skull. There's always something right there. I just felt like it completed it.
Yeah, and it makes a nice triangle.
I was gonna say my first thought was like a baseball diamond kind of vibe there, with like the super wide, a triangle formed with the top of the bats, and then
I was wondering if you were going to catch that. I was wondering if you were going to catch that.
I was planning that all along.
I cannot believe it. We're 45 minutes into this thing, and I was like, somebody's going to get it, and I bet it's going to be Joe.
That's what.
So what a load of shit.
To be on
completely. But and here's the other thing. Like, you look back at some of the old logos and everything like that. I'm a huge proponent of, I try to make, if you look back at just about every identity that I've made, including icons, even including illustrations that I've done, pretty much everything that I've done could work in one color. It's an old way of thinking, but you look at so many of these old, the old logos, it's the same way. It's like, I want it to just come out there, black, yellow, and just kill it. How would it work? Now, I got a lot of folks saying, hey, you should have done it yellow on a black background, which is what I did like later on.
It works both
later
ways,
on. Yeah, it really does. It really does. And I don't know. I just wanted to prove that like you could still do a really, really good sports, like a logo that could actually work for a sports team and still only have it in one color and it's still kill.
Sure.
Or be killed as this guy can, clearly, as you can clearly see with this guy.
I really enjoyed this matchup, guys. Thanks a lot for participating in this.
Yeah,
this was really fun.
I had a blast.
How do we do this?
Yeah, me too. Actually, oddly enough, I don't know what happened, but I think somebody saw this somebody saw the work that I did for this project. And then on TikTok, they somehow, I don't know how they saw it on TikTok. Oh, actually, I posted about it on TikTok. That's fucking how. Anyway.
Do we have a super designable following exclusively on TikTok? That would
It's
be
3 people.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
And one of them is Scott.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy reached out about some logo that he needed done, and it was a sports logo because he saw this existing sports logo. And I was like, actually, I've never done this shit before. This is the first time I've done this. So you're going to want to work with somebody else because I don't meddle in this territory. But, it was also for like a sports, a little kids team in like Texas. And like, he's probably
yeah.
So I was like, I don't think you understand the budget involved, buddy. So.
Yeah,
anyway.
But I mean, listen, if a little kids team contacts me, like not like a YMCA team, but like a traveling team or something,
5% discount. 5% discount.
5% discount. But if they come to me and they say, "Here's $500, do whatever you want,"
yeah,
sure, you got it, buddy. You got it. I'll do it. That sounds fun, but no changes, no multiple content.
Exactly. That's the problem. Then you get moms, 30.
Do you realize what this guy did just for $500?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Weighing in. How dare you put a skull on here? Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy in particular wanted something very specific. So I was like, I already know where this is going. Yeah.
I've had to turn down jobs after I've accepted them, and then it got too art directy, and I was like,
exactly.
Like I was doing a poster for Kyle Kinane a couple of years ago, and he had this idea, and I was like, well, that's not a great poster, but here's my take on it. Like, okay, I'm taking your idea, but I'm going to make it a good poster, right? That people will want to buy.
Right.
I'm taking your idea, but I'm going to make it good.
Yeah, I'm going to make it better. Exactly.
Well, I don't know. He was thinking like not a designer, because he's not a designer, and that's fine, right? Yeah. And eventually it was just like, listen, you wouldn't want the club owner telling you what jokes to tell on stage. I don't want to work on this poster anymore. I don't want you to, you're not paying me enough. Like, listen, if you're going to pay me $5,000, I'll draw whatever the fuck you want me to draw. Right. But I think you're funny and I want to do this project, but
yeah, that's what it's a Pee-wee team. He's like, if you're going to pay me $5,000, like, yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
There is a number out there where you are willing to put up with just about anything.
And $5,000 is really not that much money, but it's like in the grand scheme of things. But for a gig poster, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with are you still getting family request?
Get what?
Family request,
your
cousin calls you to make their logo. How does that?
Nope.
That doesn't happen.
For me, right now, my brother's about to get married this month, so you know what I'm doing? Just a bunch of tables, cards, stuff, and table seatings, like all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's just because I feel obligated because he's my brother.
Yeah, it's listen, I hope you like your brother, but
I do.
I don't really mind doing family stuff until it becomes art directed as well.
Yeah,
right. I will do things for my family, but only if I start it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I made this for y'all. I think you would enjoy this. But like I did, what is it? My dad had the same logo at his company. He started his company back in '93. He was at like Office Depot or whatever, and got all his all the little invoices, with the yellow and the pink and whatnot. And it was like, oh, we'll just throw a little logo up there, and it was like this awesome looking little micrometer, tool and everything. And I remember when I got out of college, I designed him a whole new logo, business cards and everything, gave it to him for Christmas, and he's still using it,
Oh,
but
nice.
like he never asked me, can you redesign my logo? Can you do that? But I just did it for him, and he's been using it ever since.
I made a logo for my sister-in-law's custom cookie thing that she just does out of her kitchen.
Ooh.
So she contacted me last week and was like, I need business cards. And I had the logo. I said, what do you want on the business card? She told me.
Mm-hmm.
I made them. I ordered them. They're getting delivered on Monday. I never showed her what they're going to look like. So I'm like, I got a half hour. I'm going to do it. You're going to get some, you need some business cards. I'll make you some business cards. It's all good.
You send me some cookies and we're set.
Exactly.
He sends us lots of cookies, dude, all the time. But I'm just saying, I said, it'll be a surprise when they show up, cause I don't want to deal with you saying,
it's like, oh, there's a surprise coming.
Yeah, of course.
Let's hope I didn't make any typos.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining me tonight, and Joe and the Scotts. I really appreciate it. I had no idea you guys had actually met each other before. Before COVID times.
Scott's a good man. I've been following him for a long, long time. I've got some of his pins and stuff like that. Still have that one you sent me. I still have the note. I keep
good
all
Lord.
that. I have
heart.
it. I still do. It's up here. It's up here, But no. Scott's one of the more talented folks that I've met. With the type and everything, and he's helped me out a ton. So, I honestly had no clue. Like going up against things, I am a pretty competitive person. So, but I'm like, man, I got to bring it. If I have any chance against this guy, I'm gonna have to bring it. So I did.
Yeah.
So where can folks find you guys online, or anything you guys want to pump or sell or whatever? Let the people know.
I will go first. You can find me on every social platform imaginable. At You Bring Fire is my handle across everything. Even my
How did You Bring Fire? Where did that come from?
Oddly enough, this is a story. The band that I used to listen to in high school is called Ivory Line, and they're actually a Christian rock band. And if you know anything about me, I'm very far away from a religious person whatsoever.
Okay. I was really very surprised.
I was like,
that you're a big Christian rock band guy.
Yeah. I'm like, I was just talking to a buddy today. I was like, I'm atheist as fuck, and then I went into a conversation about something. But anyway. So this band I was really into at the time, they have a song it's literally called You Bring Fire. And it's a song about, Jesus bringing fire to your soul, essentially. And at the time, I definitely, the way music is, you can interpret it however you want and in however many ways that you want to. So it just kind of stuck with me. I started a Tumblr account, used that as my username. Scott, what the fuck are you doing?
Scott, you're making a lot of noise. Hold on. I've muted him. He's good. Sorry. I should have done that sooner.
Oh, that's so awesome.
There you go. Dude. It was worth it.
That is what this man does.
Jesus Christ. Thank you.
So back when you were into Christian rock, that's where you got the name from.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's why your logo has a crown of thorns on it. It all makes sense now.
That's so good, man. I actually didn't even know that.
It's just something that stuck with me, and I've kept it over the years, and it's kind of been a part of who I am at this point. It's kind of evolved with me, and that's pretty much it.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And your TikToks are really good. And that's why I'm pissed. I was like, this guy's really talented, and he's actually really funny. What a dick.
He is.
Yeah.
You should really. You're so talented. You really should be way more socially awkward than you are. Okay.
Let me just try and get homeschooled. I feel like a lot of homeschool kids, sadly, have that socially awkward situation, and I need to do that. So
yeah, Go back to grade school.
Yeah.
Some Billy Madison shit.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott Fuller, where can people find you on the internet?
If you go to thestudiotemporary.com, that's pretty much everything right there. I'm on across all social media that I'm actually on at Studio Temporary. That's Twitter, Instagram, Venmo, Cash App, whatever. Go ahead. Whoever wants to.
I'll send you some money.
Yeah, there we go. What is it? But yeah, you can find me there. I'm pretty active on Instagram. That's honestly where I've built my biggest following. I still get a ton of work through that.
Nice.
But check me out. I do have some posters and some type and stuff like that on my site that is priced to move. And I'm still waiting on some tubes to come in from Uline, so I might.
And
take
if you're
a few.
looking for a paid internship, send all your resumes to Scott Fuller. He's
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, it'll be fun though, man.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me and everybody. I really
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for doing some free logos for the Super Design Bowl.
Of course.
It was a lot of fun. I'm sorry to tell you right now, but the invoice is not being paid. Thanks, guys.
No, seriously, thanks. I love this whole thing. I love just the intro and the all different things.
Oh, that intro. Fucking intro,
wait for the outro.